Okay, in this video, I'm going to do an update to my video on the coronavirus gun panic buying video. Okay, um, I'm going to cover three things in here: a House bill, an update to the gun buying, and gun show cancellations. Okay, because they're all kind of tied in together. Now, ever since this coronavirus thing came out, this is different. This is a whole different ball game. There have been panic buying in the past, and I'll explain that when I go over the history of it. But everyone is getting hit with the pandemic. Okay, our restriction of movement. Some states are in lockdown, and that there's talk of martial law. Actually, the government, the police, and that things are starting to break down as this goes on. The president and the news are telling you all kinds of things that make no sense. Sometimes it's conflicting. There's a lot of confusion, and this is not only in the United States. A couple people from Great Britain have told me that, there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's no, it's conflicting and confusing. Nobody really knows what exactly is going on, and things change on like an hourly basis. So that is part of what is driving this or creating this, okay? So, and I wrote things down trying to keep my thoughts in order, all right? And we'll talk about it here. So first thing is, first and most important, okay, with the gun bans and some kind of sneaky political crap, there is a House Bill 5717 that they're trying to slip in during all of this through the House. Okay, I'm not going to get into it. Look it up. It's 5717, 5717, House Bill 5717. If you type that in to YouTube or Google, and YouTube, it won't automatically pop the videos up. When you go and do it, there's like 20, 30 videos of people talking about this. A lot of different people. This is not good. So look that up, number one. Okay, so now back to the run on guns and the panic buying. In the past I did this, okay, and back during, let's call it the Obama days, all right. Our society, or the United States, is set up for this volatile up and down panic stuff, okay? And it's not just with guns. Guns, because this channel and my hobby is related to firearms and ammunition. But you can look at how this was used. The housing bubble or the housing crisis, same thing, okay, is what this gun panic buying. It's the same mechanism. They used to sell a limited amount of some kind of toy right before Christmas and was advertised in that. And the companies deliberately would limit the amount available prior to Christmas, advertise it heavily. People would kill each other and get in riots at different department stores trying to buy this gift for their children. And then they had warehouses full of it that a week after Christmas you could buy them for half price and a ton of them. And everybody, because everyone's talking about it. Everybody heard about it. It's on the news. I got to get one. Okay, it's a week after Christmas, but hell, I'm going to buy it. So there is a mechanism, in the U.S. at least, okay, I can't talk about other countries, to where they get people to buy something they don't need at an inflated price, and then profit off of it, either the manufacturers or people creating the crisis by hoarding ammunition. And how that came about, how it all came about was when Obama was elected, there was strong political talk of changing gun laws. That's what the Democrats wanted. That's what he was going to do. He was going to change the gun laws. And every time he got on TV and said something about it, there was a spike in the sale of guns, banning assault rifles, okay? Their own rhetoric created some of this. Now what happens is opportunists and people took advantage of this, okay, and what would happen is every time there was a mass shooting or something, the outcry from the public, because don't get me wrong, mass shootings are bad. They're not good for anyone, okay? But to jump up and say, enough's enough, we're gonna just take everyone's guns away, creates a secondary problem. Okay, because no matter what anyone says, no matter how horrible the incident is, the message is people don't like the idea of guns being taken away from them, okay? They buy more, so this started this buying, and what it is people, again, fear. People don't feel safe, people do not trust the government, people do not trust the local law enforcement or the local government. So it's kind of like you're out on your own, okay? So you should defend yourself, and that's kind of the driving force on some of it. Part of it was greed and profiting, because once this starts, much like the housing industry, once you can bait people into taking these ridiculous loans and inflating the value of the house, all these people on the side, brokers, people selling these mortgages, they're all making money. And it don't matter to them if the people default or the economy gets destroyed. Everyone's grabbing their little hunk on this swindling. Same thing with the old gun buying crisis. Guns would go up, guns would go down. Average price of an AR-15 was $700, say $750. Well, they had a massacre. They go up $1,300. And this, I was at the gun show where the guys came with the guns priced at $700. And when this went on, they said, okay, $1,300, whatever, and sold every one of them. What was the reason? There was no law passed. There was nothing done. There was no shortage. Okay? Greed. People said they're going to have to pass a law. So that gun, when it's outlawed, is going to be worth $2,000. So I'm going to pay $1,300, so I got one now. So now you got all these people bought all these assault rifles, banned guns. They really didn't buy them to use them. They bought them to sell them at 2 or 3 times the amount they paid once the law was passed. Well, the law was never passed. So now you had a whole pile, a whole inventory out there of people waiting to jump on it and make a profit, and it never happened. And they got stuck. And they got burned. There's a lot of people that did. So there's a whole bunch of guns that are going unused that people bought because they didn't need them, want them, or ever intended on using them. They bought them out of greed. Okay? And this is getting to where we're getting into our current run and ban. And also, the politicians said if we can't change the gun laws, then what we'll do is change the law to ban ammunition, because ammunition isn't mentioned in the Second Amendment. Just arms, okay, not munitions. This created to where the ammo hoarding, and people were buying ammunition and going nuts. And actually there were videos, is ammunition going to be the new currency? So if I got thousands and thousands of rounds of ammo stashed somewhere, the economy collapses, people are going to start killing one another, but I got ammo, because now the government restricted ammo, I can use ammo as money. And people actually believe that and stored up ammunition, never intending on using it or target shooting or anything. Okay, again, greed. And this is going to be important, because now we come into our current situation. It is not the same thing. Okay, there are no laws being passed, or the one I mentioned, that bill, they're trying to sneak that in, but it is not at the forefront of political discussion, like an election promise, okay? That would be a different story. They're trying to do it backdoor during the crisis. The same people have that, they want to ban guns and register them all. They're up to that. So, what has happened, like I said, with everything coming down, the economy's under attack. People have lost their jobs. They're limiting our movement in society. They're closing stores. They're limiting hours. Okay? There's talk of martial law. This is what has spurred on this new buy, panic buy of guns and ammo, but it is different. Okay? Now the old one was just done, conjured up out of air, nothing ever happened. There was no restriction of movement, no pandemic. Okay, now we got a crisis. So you got different factors. They are closing the store hours. They're limiting what you can buy. Any of the chain places or the large national stores like Academy Sports and Sportsman's Warehouse, they're limiting stuff, okay, to keep the profiteering or the greed or the hoarding to a minimum, okay? So that's a good thing. Smaller shops, like you see on TV, and they put it on TV, a guy that maybe he has a little tiny shop and maybe his whole inventory is like 200 or 300 guns. Yeah, he doesn't have a warehouse or a distribution chain behind him. He orders a few items for his small shop. These people are getting cleaned out because the way their business is run, okay, they do not have access to, like I said, a supply chain. Academy Sports, okay, I went in there Friday, they're still selling guns. You have to keep your social distance. Everything's slowed down. All the guns are there. The racks weren't empty. They have a supply. And you're allowed, I think, to one gun, one rifle, one handgun or something. But filling out the papers and that, everyone had to be spaced out, their social distance, everyone had to wait patiently, and you can still buy a gun. And same with Sportsman's Warehouse. I forget what it was because I didn't go there to look at guns. They're still selling guns, but there are limits and everything else. Now, where there's some fear and panic is, like I was mentioning, what's different is with this pandemic and a lot of the things going on, they're telling you certain services, they're sending people in offices home and that, and depending on how your state has it lined up for you to buy a firearm, okay? In my state, if it's a long gun, shotgun, or rifle, they got to call on the phone for the FBI background check. Now, I don't know how that's working. They might be overwhelmed, swamped, and they can't get through. So you would have to wait 3 days to pick the gun up, I guess, if they can't get through. A handgun, you have to go down to the sheriff's office and get a purchasing permit, okay? I don't know if the sheriff's offices are overwhelmed. It might depend on the county you live in. They might just say, hey, we closed the office and suspended issuing all permits, okay, because of the coronavirus crisis. Some states that has happened, I forget, somebody was saying, it's not in North Carolina, but another state, you have to go and get a background check through the sheriff or something, or through the government, before you can go and purchase a firearm. Well, the whole office has been shut down, swamped, overwhelmed. So even though there are no restrictions from you legally to buy it, you cannot go do the paperwork through the government because the government services are breaking down for you to go purchase the gun. So some states have a standstill at that point, okay? So this is what's kind of aggravating it. And like I said, locally, I'll recap. I went to Academy Sports. They were selling guns, and what they're doing is they're putting their stock out. The shelves had ammunition on them. And their rule is 3 items. So I went in there to get primers. And they did have cartons of primers, 3 of them. I said, what's the limit on what I can buy? And the guy just says, whatever it is. 3 boxes of ammo, 3 pounds of gunpowder, cartons of primer, 3 is your limit. That's all I can buy. So I bought 3 that I needed, and I left. So that's how they're doing it. It's 3, I guess, daily. So if I went and bought 3 boxes of cartridges one day, I can go back and buy 3 boxes of cartridges the next day or something. So, and they're keeping it to where there's stuff on the shelves, okay, somewhat. There is ammunition in there. I didn't look or anything because I just went, got my primers, and left. Now, so I said, for the hell of it, I'll ride over to Sportsman's Warehouse. And I believe it was 10 o'clock when I got there. I knew they opened earlier, but I go in and there's like a crowd in front of the door. And I said, they should be open by now. Because I was on my way to go to Costco, which is going to be another video. And there's a crowd. I'd say there's 20 people out in front of the door that were waiting. And they're automatic doors that open wide. Well, they turn that off and open the doors part way, and an employee come out. And I didn't get close enough to hear what she was saying, but she was saying something about new company policies, blah, 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 this and that. Okay, I'll let you in. And as we were going in, she was counting the people going in. So I guess not only are the store hours changed and limited, okay, they had a sign up there shortening the hours the store is open. They're not opening as early and they're closing by 6 o'clock, okay, which I think they stayed open till 9 at one time. They're also regulating whatever the limit is. Say it's 100 people. They let 100 people in max, stop, and then when 3 come out, 3 can go in, that kind of deal. Because the woman was still there, and when I was leaving, probably counting us leaving the store. So that's something new, okay, a little bit more restrictive, where Academy Sports, that didn't go on. There wasn't a large crowd in there. Well, there was a lot of trucks, but they weren't counting people, okay, put it to you that way. So when I went in there, I also checked on that, when I showed you that big row of skids in the last video, all of that's gone. All of that's totally gone. Okay, other than they had some buckets of 22s, they had bulk packs of 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, basically all high-powered rifle rounds. There was still a skid with a bunch of that stuff on it, and some of them Remington pails of 22 rimfire. All the stuff I showed you, the one shelf with the 9mm was gone. That other shelf with the Winchester stuff in the brown paper box, that was gone. There was another brand of 9 out there, I think it was a little bit higher priced. Okay. But all that stuff in 3 days was totally gone, them whole shelves. So they sold out. You still could buy 9mm 45 ammo. I think it was a little bit more, the more expensive brands, not the bulk. A lot of the bulk stuff was gone, the buckets and pails, the 3.8, that was all. Alright, so there really isn't, I'm going to say, a shortage. Okay, for the past 3 years, sales have been flat in both guns and ammunition. Them guys are drowning in this stuff. So if you're patient, and with everything being restricted, eventually they'll get more ammo there, but here's the catch. You're going to pay more. The days of $8 boxes of 9mm brass case shells are gone. The days of the $400 AR-15 rifle are gone. If you go online, a lot of us want to play it safe, not move around, go online. If you go online, everything is sold out. Okay? So, now let's look at it from this perspective. You see where it's a little bit different. The causes are a little bit different in this rush and panic. So let's say our profiteers show up again. All those guys that bought $600 ARs, $700, $1,300 AR-15s all those years ago. Okay, I'm going to get my money back finally. Well, here's the problem with this. Now, most people will go to gun shows. Okay, drag their stuff to a gun show. Now, most gun shows, because what people would do is be out in the parking lot selling and trading. Well, over the years and since then, this is eliminated. A lot of the vendors will not allow you to make deals out in the parking lot. So and they have police out there to make sure. They hire the cops to patrol the parking lot. Okay, so that's out. So now we go to the flea market. And kind of the reason why I got into the flea market was to check out this shady underworld of guns, ammo, and stuff, and where this stuff was going. And The local flea market's closed. 311, the big outdoor one, it's shut down till further notice. And I said, because somebody mentioned to me before they shut the club down, wow, with all of this going on, if you go to a gun show, you could probably make a lot of money. So I go to the gun show list. The gun shows have been canceled, at least the ones for the remainder of this month that were still up there. 2-3 weeks from now, the middle end of next month, some of them, like the one in Raleigh, Dixie Classic, that's still says confirmed. But, you know, anything for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks has been canceled. Okay, so the gun shows are canceled because with the restriction, you can't have a gathering of more than 100 people or something, so no gun show, no flea market, no venue to sell your guns or ammo easily. There's nowhere to go, okay? So this, in a strange way, makes it different, that if somebody's trying to profit quickly and ride this panic while your venues have been stopped. So it's different. All right, well, I hope that helps, and it's my point of view on it, kind of in a nutshell. So stay tuned.